Kida eknuktuk piuchichenes pechalinu nami chestun kilami. Taya huwankut nunu kakmet bijak nakadana kagena. Chalirunishki huwankut nuna kilnu pechestun huwankuda unita beda kilnu kwimnu.
For many of the older parishioners, Church Slavonic and Alutiiq is part of their prayers already, and that simply as a clergyman I could help to encourage the use of these languages and to also pass them on to the younger generation.
So the story of the project starts in the 9th century, believe it or not. You know, it's what I find very exciting is that my children, my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old, throughout the week they'll be singing the Alutiiq hymn or the communion hymn in Alutiiq.
The church is not a museum, and so when dear elders came and it shared the Lord's Prayer in translation, it was a natural and immediate, of course. Why haven't we been doing this sooner? What a wonderful, rich blessing to have this renewed.
For this modern Alutiiq alphabet, Alutiiq people use Cyrillic alphabet.
I try to sing along in the Lord's Prayer, and I still can't get past the first 2 words. So you'll be patient with me teaching you. It's such a blessing.
This is truly the revitalization of the language when it becomes not simply something we read about, but something that we actually pray and becomes part of our spiritual lives.
But I've gone to church all my life. It was all in Slavonic. A very little alley with my dad sang. It was mostly in English or Slavonic. We called it Russian.
What is happening is that now every week, either at the chapel or at the cathedral, something in Alutiiq is being sung.
Like this Our Father that we're doing here is what's called a chant. And it's based on the Byzantine chant, which is a very old church style of singing. And then there's a hymn. And the hymns tend to be more Western music. And in Alaska history, the chant tended to come from the Russian church, and the hymns tended to come from the Presbyterians.
This is a very special moment, and to be able to sing it in Alutiiq, especially when you're partaking, I feel very special when it is sung in Slavonic while I'm partaking. It just brings you back to the motherland.
I'm sorry it's kind of dying off. I'm glad that they're trying to bring it back so that our younger generations can learn from it.
Cyrillic alphabet translated from Russian. It was so, it made my heart feel happy.
It touches a deep part within my heart, and I'm sure that it will in time for many of our people to be able to cry out to God in our own tongue.
It made me glad and that I could understand what these prayers that the lay reader tried so hard to help us learn. I must have been about 8, 9, 10. I couldn't go beyond the Lord's Prayer.
I grew up, it was all in Russian. My dad was a church reader. And we moved to Uzinki when I was 13 years old. And we've been there. But my dad was one of the most devout Orthodox church readers. He spent his whole life like that.
And I'm from Kodiak, and my friends drove me into these classes, and I enjoyed them because I learned a lot. And, I I wasn't here very long, but it's real interesting.
And you learned very fast.
Yeah.
My name is Clyda Christensen. I was born in Karluk in 1920. They used to sing so much Slavonic. Her dad used to sing some of it, and it kind of came back to me when I started coming to the museum, or I mean to you over there when you were asking me.
Because the adults would speak like in a code. And we always knew it was juicy gossip because that's when they would really, or they didn't want us to know, they would speak Alutiiq. And, you know, what's sad in a way is, you know, there was a break there. But thanks be to God and the work that everybody's done. You know, we're making that transition. And
Oh yeah, I remember when they used to sing Shikakukut ilanach kuilach nunaga yun Shikakukut ilanach kuilach nunaga ayun Hong kuda pida kluda mani sami ilanach kulchiaden aga yun. That means when we were kneeling down because he suffered for us, and everybody in the whole world he suffered for. But part of it I don't remember. That's the one I remember all the time.
But he did sing a lot of songs in Alutiiq.
and Easter song.
Easter, Russian Christmas, and on Lent. During Lent, 7 weeks of Lent, he sang quite a bit.
At the cathedral itself, English has always been on the island the third language, not the first. It's the other, it's always been the third. There's been the Alutiiq, the Russian, and then English. But over the years, because everybody was speaking English, that became the standard. And it's, of course, you would hear, any given Sunday, you might hear a litany in Slavonic, the church liturgical language from Russia. And you'd also hear, because of the seminary, and we have lots of Yupik students, you'd usually hear a litany in Yupik. But we weren't hearing anything in Alutiiq.
I do enjoy it. I have learned a lot that I didn't know.
It's valuable, and thank you.
This has been a wonderful project, which we hope is expanding beyond the Lord's Prayer in our liturgical cycle in the services, but also pre-communion prayers, and even learning and getting towards doing a litany, so that the language is actually a part of the daily worship in the church too.
Well, I'm very pleased with everything you've been doing. I hope and pray you'll continue. And the next time I come, I want to hear more songs in Alutiiq and more prayers in Alutiiq.
The dear elders, thank you.
No,